Hi, hope you are doing well. And today we are going to discuss something very interesting in SQL, that is join. So let me fix some setting of my laptop so it should be connected in the right way. And I think I should not get disconnected from this. Yes, okay. So let me quickly open ChatGPT where we were learning some interesting concept of SQL. So this is the SQL queries for a student, and we already covered joins, and we will today covering the what we can say nested queries, because here you can see we have already covered with the uh, one second join with multiple condition, dynamic pivoting, union case. Let me go to this. Okay, so we have covered with aggregate, and now we have to move in full outer join and right join and left join. We covered this part in last video. What are these? These were left join, right join, and full outer join. Today we are going to learn about subqueries, using in and not in, using exist, and some advanced queries. We will see later. And let me fix my setting to do the thing. Okay, so I utilize 95% of the data. So let me fix my setting. Yes. So I quickly wanted to open Excel draw, and first of all we will learn how we can run our queries in our terminal. So how to run SQL queries, Q U Queries queries in terminal. Okay. Uh, to run the SQL queries in terminal, follow these steps. First of all, set up open MySQL in the terminal. MySQL -u root p, replace root with your MySQL username. Use your database, run your SQL query, exit MySQL. Okay, so to do that, uh, actually, actually, I have not installed. I have not installed the MySQL yet. How can I do that? How can I do that? Okay, so the process of MySQL depends on your operating system. First of all, we have to go on this website. Okay, and now we will have to develop a default or custom installation. Ensure MySQL Surface component are selected. Workbench MySQL cell. Configure MySQL when prompt. Set up the root password. Remember this for later. Choose the standalone MySQL server and continue. Okay. So here we have Microsoft Windows, so we will download it and see myself community download. uh, Use my Oracle Wave account, sign up. Let me quickly sign up into this account. uh, if I go to the no thanks, just start using your authority. If you are having an Oracle Wave, click on the login, otherwise you can sign up for free. Okay, let me quickly sign up into this account, because I wanna the code that I write into the SQL server will save for further reference, because in our online compiler they got erased, and every time we refresh the page, the data that the code we have put it and the effort that we have put it in that page is got is get lost. So we don't want this thing. We wanted that the code that we write will save in some file, so and we can easily run our SQL queries. That's why I am installing this process. And meanwhile you can also learn how to install MySQL into your local machine. So here first of all give me my uh, email, uh, password, something that okay, I can use my strong password India. Give me some random name, mobile number. Okay. uh, uh, okay, so here's my phone number and this is my address, and let me quickly sign up to this account. uh, Create my account. Can you create? Okay, I got some network issue. Here we have go. Here what we can say, yes, I got my connection back, and we are going to hit the request to the server to sign up and quickly sign up this account. And then okay, mm, let me open my terminal first. Can I install without any password and secret key? Okay, yes I can. And the MySQL installer web community is 2.10 MB and it will be created very soon. Meanwhile we can learn some SQL queries and then we can uh, run in our terminal. So how we can do that? So here we can do something very interesting. uh, Let me go to this table. Here we have the table and we already covered left, right and full outer join. Now we'll moving with the SQL subqueries. So here we have a subquery because we are selecting something based on the part of a query. That means we have a query inside another query. So if we are executing a query on right to left, then the first part of the query, as we will be having two queries. So first we have outer query and inner query. So first the inner query will executed, and then the another query will outer query will execute. So here how we will see how we can do that. So if you have this query, we can simply copy it here and paste it here. uh, Yes, here we can paste this query and see what we are doing. We are just from the student table. Can I have the student table? Yes, I have the student table. And if I remove this, uh, let me give the eraser. Okay, can I get the select button? Yes, let me delete this. Let me delete this. Let me delete this. So this was the table we have. And can I bring this table to some? Okay, okay, let me fix this table here and then reset. Yes, we have this table. And now from student table, what we are getting from student table, we need to select name and marks. We need to select what? Name and marks. Okay, can I get this? Okay, we have to select these two columns, name and the marks table. But based on what which condition, we are selecting maximum marks from student table. So first we need to calculate this part of the query, this part of the query. So if we run this query, we know what the outcome will come. So what we are doing, from student table we are selecting maximum of marks. So here the maximum marks is 90. So this row got selected from this part of the query. So from this part of the query, what we will be getting, we will be getting this row. And from this particular row, now we have this data from the inner part of the query. And from this data, what we are selecting, we are simply selecting name and marks. So the Charlie and the marks 90 will be printed from this query. So In the subquery, what we have learned the first, the query execution will always from left to right, right to left, and the inner part of query will execute firstly, then the outer part of the query. So this is the concept you need to remember. Now moving ahead with another query using in and not in. Like here what we are doing marks equal to select max marks from student. Now here what we can do, we can use in or not in function. So here we can get select name from student where course ID in 101 or 102. So select name from student where course ID not in 101 and 102. So we are doing the same thing if we copy this command here and see how we can learn this. Yes, we have this command here, and the thing we are doing in our previous query, we are doing the exactly same thing, just we have introduced something interesting in this query, that is where course ID in 101 and 102. So we are specifying a particular range in a particular table, or we are specifying a group of column based on some condition. So the first, only this part of the query will execute. This part of the query will execute. Let me change the color. Yes, this part of the query will execute. So from the student table we have, let me remove this. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, yes. Now see, from this table what we are getting, what we wanted to get, 101 and 102. So we have 101 course ID and 102 course ID and 101 course ID. From these three row 1, 2 and 4, what we need to select, we need to select name. So here what the data we will get, we will get Alice, Bob and Daisy. So this is the thing that we are getting. Now what we can do further, uh, similarly where we when we use not in query, when we use a not in query, so uh, select name from student where course ID not in 101 and 102. So we can clearly know the data that we print is not belong to the 101 102 course ID. So the what the data will print from the uh, this part of from this query is the Charlie. From this query we only get Charlie because the course ID that is not belonging in the range of 101 to 102 is 103, and the student who is doing a course with course ID 103 has name Charlie. So from the below part of the query the answer will be Charlie. Okay, let me move to another query. Now uh, now we have an exist keyword. Using exist keyword, what we are getting, we are selecting name from student table where exist this part of the query. So we have two queries here. The inner part of the query is this and the outer part of the query is this. So from the inner part of the query, what we are getting, we are selecting everything from course table where fees is 3000. So let me copy this query first. Uh, okay, yes, yes, we have this part of the query. Uh, okay, now what we are selecting here, we are selecting everything from course table where fees is greater than 30,000. So we have only one column in which fees is greater than 30,000 in the course table. So the data that we are selecting from the inner part of the query is this, and now from this data what we are getting, where exist, select name from student table, where exist. Now what we are getting, where this okay, so in the student table and course table what we have a common, we have common thing is our course id, and when we select the inner part of the query we are getting primary key as 103 and which is acting as a foreign key here. So from the 103 we only get this row in our, so this is the condition for the outer query, because we have this outer query and this is the condition for outer query. So we have 103 course ID from the inner query, and with the help of 103 what we are getting, we are getting some data, what we are selecting name from student table where the course ID is 103. So the this thing is telling us, uh, so this is nothing but this is telling us select name from student table where exist course ID, because course ID is the common column in both the table that is acting as a foreign key in course table and primary key in the both table. So here we have a course ID equal to 103. So if we execute this part of the query, if we execute this part of the query, so we will get the data as Charlie, because we are doing the same thing. Select name from student where exist course ID equal to 103. So we have the three part of the inner query and subqueries. We can do the first thing we can do is a this. Let me quickly make a table here. Uh, we have a first part, and then now we can, yes. So all the three subqueries are doing the same thing. The first part of the query is nothing but uh, what we can say, yes, yes. So this is the first part of the query where we are using a assignment operator as equal, and from the in and using in and not in, we are doing the same thing. So let me paste it here, and if we remove this part of the query, okay, and if we do this and do this, okay, so you can take a screenshot of this thing, and we are getting the name from student table where course id is not 102 and 103. So where if we have to include not, because if we do not include, so the other part of the other rows of the table will be printed and will not equal to this query. So we have to include not in, not in, no, uh, not in. Now it is correct. And the third part of the query is exist, using exist keyword. So can I do this, can I here, can I paste it here, and where exist, select, okay, okay, okay. So these three things are the same, and this is using can I have another uh, exist, exist, and this is by pot using not in, and this is using the assignment operator. Now what we can do, we can move to the another part of the queries. Now we have some advanced query, and we will understand them in a very interesting manner. Here we have this query, and we first need to just paste it here to understand what we are doing. We already know, when we are learning a query we have to know the execution of the query from right to left. So we have to focusing on the from student table as rank order by marks in descending order over rank function. So let me clearly, I don't never know what is a rank function, Windows function, common table function, and recursive CT function with recursive number as select one as num o self join. Forget, this is the very advanced topic and this never come in interview, so we can easily neglect them for this right now because I never learned this rank and highest score what are the recursive queries are, and we can move to the some query that actually come and matter to our interview preparation. So let me move to the self join. Yes, we have understand the self join and uh, we had read about it, so we can execute it. So if we copy this query and paste it here and see what is happening. So select S1 name as student1, S2 name as S2 student2 from student S1 table, inner join student S2 table on S1 dot course ID is equal to S2 dot course ID. What you can do, you can think like that. Here we have S1 is nothing but S1 is a student table and S2 is a course table. So what we can do, select S1 student dot name from student as student1 and course dot name as a student2 from inner join. We are inner join, we know in inner join what we are doing, we are simply uh, searching the row that are exactly matching in both the, what we can say, in both the table, in both the table. If the rows are exactly matching, then only we can simply uh, copy in our resultant table, that this is the inner join. So the record that are matching in both the table are come into the result when we use inner join. Okay, now we will get this from inner join, and now what we will do, based on this condition and not, and where s1 dot student id is not equal to s2 dot student id. Okay, so the course id should be same and the student id should not be equal to the same. So from actually what this query is telling to us, when we have a student table and course table, we will have two column common in both the table. The first one is a student id table and the second one is the course id table. And when we are performing some operation in inner join, we are focusing the intersection of both the column based on the condition that is given here, s1 dot course id equal to uh, s2 dot course id, and we are giving an extra condition. When we selected this thing, we have selected some part of matching part of the query from both the table and we get the sum data. Now we are removing the sum queries based on this condition. Which condition? This condition. This condition is telling us the matching row should have s1 dot student id should not be equal to s2 dot student id. So we will go into both the table and print the data in which the student dot student id will not equal to course dot student id. So the sum data get also erased from this and we get some uh, uh, only some part of the data. So this is a inner join and self join. Let me okay. So we have installed our MySQL server and let me quickly open this. Yes, yes. Mhm. Please select the setup type that should install only MySQL server. This should be used when you want to deploy a MySQL server but will not be deploying MySQL application. Install only MySQL client product without a server only. Next, let me go with the pre-described conditions. Execute, execute. So it is downloading, and uh, we can simply minimize it and focus on our learning. Now we will have a union. Meanwhile, if we want to execute this query, we have to insert. So let me install first this. Meanwhile it is installing, uh, we can learn some more queries, that is union. So in union, what we will do, give me just 1 minute break. Okay, so in union we have this query, and we just need to from union we understand what the query wanted to tell us. Let me paste it here. And in math, as we do a union b, and similarly this query will happen. It is a overview of this query, and let me go inside this query. So first what will happen, we will focus on this part of the query. Select name from student where marks is greater than 80. Okay, so what we are going to select from this, uh, can I drag this, can I drag this here, drag this here. Okay, okay, okay. So okay, so from this part of the query we have the marks greater than 80 is 88, 90 and 85. So we will select the student with student ID 1, 3 and 4. Now we have the three column from the this part of the query. Union this part of the query. Select name from student where gender is male. Now gender is male in this part query and this part of the query. Okay, so when we perform union, we know that if any condition match in both the query, we will have to take the data. So as we can see, the student, whose student ID is 2, is not having marks greater than 80, but we will still uh, take this row in our final result, because it's the student gender is male. So as the only one part of the query is uh, satisfying the condition, but we are performing a union operation, that's why we will have to take this particular row in our final table. So from union we understand, we will either one part of the query will satisfy the condition, or the next part of the query will satisfy the condition. If any of them are satisfying the condition, you have to take the row in your final table. In inner join you are doing absolutely intersection, so you can neglect them if any part of the query is not performing well. Like in DSA, as we do uh, or operation A or B, so it is equal to A union B and union B, and if we perform A and B, it is equal to A intersection B. Hope you understand what I want to explain to you. Now moving ahead. Intersection. Intersection keyword in some database. Select name from student where gender is male. Intersection from this. You understand? I don't need to uh, explain this query. You already understand it, but let me explain for the those who did not understand. So here you can see only this part of the query will execute first. So what we are getting the data as, we get 4, 3 and 1, as their marks are 85, 90 and 80 greater than 80. And now we intersect only those column where gender is male, so out of 3 rows we will select the row in which the gender is male. So here we have gender male, so only this part will be selected, because other 2 row has gender female. So this will be our final outcome from this query. Now moving ahead. Deleting data. Deleting data is very simple. Delete from student where marks is less than 50. So we don't have any column you clearly understand what this query is want to tell you. And if we execute this query from this table, here you can see no row or no student has marks less than 80, so we cannot delete anything from this table. And uh, if I remove this query and if I do this, can you tell me what will going to happen? All the data from student table will be erased and we don't have access to a student table. So you have to make sure what you are deleting पता चले आप गए उधर और पूरा डेटा ही डिलीट करके रख दिए. So this will not going to happen in your case. So make sure when you are dropping or deleting some data, you have to understand what you are deleting. You have an overview what you are deleting. Now updating the data. Here we can use update student set marks equal to marks plus 5 their course ID is this. I don't even think I have to explain this query to you because we already covered some advanced query and this is the very basic query. Here we are doing where course ID is 101, so the course ID is 101 here and 101 is here. And now what we are doing, we are setting the marks plus 5, so the 85 will be set as 90 and 88 set as a 93, and student table got updated. And can I see the progress of this? Yes, 75% is already installed. And let me uh, cover some more queries and we will run these queries in our terminal so we can see the output and and match the understanding that we have learned from this video. Can I have some more queries? Yes. uh, Updating the data, deleting the data, and dynamic reporting. What is this dynamic reporting? uh, Select course ID sum. We are doing something as male student. This is alias, and what we do case when gender male then 1 else 0 and end कर दो. And sum में क्या है? Sum case when gender is female then 1 else 0 end कर दो. From student group by course ID. So first of all, we need to group by the table based on in student table. We need to group rows based on course ID. Okay. Then we have to perform this operation, the sum operation. We have to select course ID and sum when gender is male and sum when gender is female. Okay, we are simply uh, then return 1. What we are doing some here? Can ChatGPT explain this query to me because I cannot understand and I never read this type of query before. So as we are in ChatGPT, it can explain. Explain mean this query. QIT. Let's see what ChatGPT explained to us. The query counts the number of male and female students in each course by using conditional aggregation. This retrieves the course ID column which represent different courses. This is just selecting sum. This conditional aggregate sum function case when gender is then it adds 1 to the sum and if student not male it adds 0. Okay. And when gender is female then it add 1 and otherwise 0. So actually it is counting the male and female candidate using the aggregate. Okay, from student table and from group ID we are doing the group. So I understand that. So here we can understand clearly we have different kind of course ID in this table. We have 101 and 102. So we first need to group based on the course ID. So if we execute, so we have only two course ID 101 and 103, and in 101 we have how many males? 101 male, 101 only we have one male student, and how many we have female student? 101 and 101 we have and 101. So we have three male female student, and if we focus on 102 course ID, with 102 course ID we have only one male, and we have two male actually, Sam and Mike, and with and no female student. So with female student is 0 and male student is 2. So I hope you understand from the chat GPT what we are doing. We are first executing the group by command. So with the uh, group by command, we first grouping the table based on the course ID. We have only two type of the course ID, 101 and 102. So we first grouped the table into the two column basically, and now in these two columns and these two part of the table, what we are doing, we are performing an aggregate function where we are counting the female and male candidate. So if we have a gender female, then we add in count as 1, and if we have a male student, we count as 2. So this is the thing that we have understand from this query. Can I have this table? Can I have this? Yes, I have this. Okay, next. Let me proceed. Oh, ho, 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 ho. Ho, ho, ho. Yes, next. Next. Because we already done with the queries. Can I have some more queries here? We have covered basic queries, we have covered intermediate queries, we have covered join, we have covered subqueries, we have covered some advanced queries excluding these window function and common table expression and recursive STE, and we have a case statement. We understand the self, join, intersection, deleting data, updating data, and dynamic pivoting. Okay, so this is the learning from this video. Let me quickly fix the deployment computer. Yes, I have a deployment computer. And now TCP method MySQL root password. Enter the password of your root account. Please remember to store this password securely. Okay, let me enter something into the password. Oh, yes. Okay, add user, Microsoft host user role. Okay, we have a and Windows service name, standard system account. Next, service file permission, C slash program data MySQL server slash data, full access to the running user running the Windows service and the administration group only. Other user and group will not have access. Okay. Next, apply log, writing configuration file, updating Windows firewall roles. No. I don't want to do anything from this table. Initialize database. This may take a long. Updating permission. Okay. Starting the server, applying the security setting, updating the start menu link. Finish. The configuration server was successful. Click finish to continue. Next. Next. Copy log to clipboard. And yes, I think we have a MySQL. And how can we check? How to check MySQL is successfully installed in my local machine. Local machine. MySQL dash version. Okay, so let me open my terminal here. Terminal on MySQL dash version. MySQL, oh my SQL testers version. MySQL is not recognized as internal external command. Mhm. Can I have something? Open command prompt, run the following. If my return this. Can I have a CMD? CMD, CMD command prompt. Yes. Okay. MySQL dash test version is not my SQL test version. Version is not recognized. That means it is not installed successfully. Uh, it's running. Try connecting. Check MySQL service in Task Manager. Open Task Manager. Net for Linux Ubuntu. Check MySQL server. Mm, I am getting. I am getting as my SQL is not recognized. Recognized. Oh, can I copy this? Can I copy this? Oh, okay. Let ChatGPT have to fix this code. MySQL Windows. Check where. Open command prompt where MySQL. Imagine it will return a path. Okay, let me. Info could not find the files for the given pattern. Okay, can I paste it here? Because the chat GPT is very helping, because we are living in AI era, so we have to use it. Otherwise, we will the our son uh, will tell us that, oh daddy, you didn't use the chat GPT. Where were you there when the chat GPT is booming? Okay, this is the joke. Open command prompt where MySQL. I'm not getting it. So download MySQL installer, file explorer. Let me search for the program file. Can I have MySQL? MySQL. Oh, MySQL. MySQL. I downloaded it. So if I run this, okay, yes, Oracle. Oh, product does as installation path. Yes, we have MySQL research program files as. Let me. Okay, let me go to this file. Yes, we have into the folder, and if I run my SQL test version, now we have a version 8.0 for Windows 18664. Okay, so we have successfully installed, because we are not having uh, the folder in which the MySQL present. So now we have the folder, and we can know uh, we can actually run some command. And if I simply remove something from here. Okay, so we have already 45 minutes and we successfully installed the MySQL server. We will continue in our next videos. Thank you.